Lots going on. Anyway, let's get to it. First, and I mean, we'll get to the Israel stuff. You'll find out. First, we'll talk about Speaker Fergus. Liberals, says Joe Warmington, are trying their best to take away the one place left where opposition can hold government to account. The beginning, or the best, being a new rule by the Speaker, which would mean the MPs can't mention the Prime Minister in the House unless he's there. He often comes just once a week. Slick moves, very slimy, very slimy. So, and honest, and Make Canada Normal Again says, former Speaker Rhoda was set up so a less ethical replacement could take the seat. Why? Something's coming. Why? I think we just saw why. They could do whatever they want. We're not starting question period at 2:15. And by the way, if Justin Trudeau's not here, you can't say his name. Sorry, no. Right? It's going to be wild. Here is Daisy Media, and he says Wellington Street South was closed today by Ottawa police for a large group of trans activists. The crowd was using amplification devices that we have been told there is zero tolerance for. Multiple people have been arrested recently for using similar devices. A member of the crowd also assaulted truck driver Pleb as he was trying to film. Who are the fascists? So there's a march here. And they have the street is shut down, and they have police escorts, so they're allowed to do that and be escorted. Daisy Media again, he says, an Ottawa police officer accuses me of inciting a large group of trans activists I was attempting to film. It's a 3-minute video, but this whole the way they're approaching this is very suspect. And the truckers, when they arrived, they were also given police escorts in certain situations. They had police liaison officers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Other than every man and his dog in the media trying to demonize the truckers, they did have good relations with the police at the beginning. So I'm not saying that the police are wrong necessarily for trying to keep the peace here or trying to separate people who are obviously ideologically opposed. But I think that the whole idea of rule of law is one rule of law for everybody. If it's illegal to use a megaphone, then it's illegal to use a megaphone no matter what cause you're promoting. In this case, it seems like the rule of law is subject to a very wide interpretation. And if certain people are using enhanced, like megaphones or anything like that, amplification devices, then those people will be arrested if they ideologically disagree with the powers that be. Whereas people who are using a megaphone that agree with the Liberals with regards to gender ideology or whatever, they'll be left alone by the police no matter what they do. Up to, I think, a very, very surprising point. A very surprising point. So this is, it's not good, because it underscores that rule of law has been abandoned in this country. And that is very, very scary. And this is just the latest example. It's not the only example, unfortunately, either. And you can see it in the Coots guys. You can see it in all sorts of people who, well, there's people who are getting house arrest over violent crimes, and then other people who are being kept in jail before they're charged. They don't get bail hearings because of a sealed envelope. And I've actually got, I haven't heard about what's supposedly in the sealed envelope. So I've got some color on what's supposedly in the sealed envelope today as well. So that's interesting. Anyway, let's carry on with the governance stuff. Anti-taxer says the Liberals gave away another $140 million of taxpayer money in 3 days, $90 million to the Caribbean countries for climate change, vaccine equity, and probably a mansion in Haiti for Trudeau, and $50 million for aid to Gaza so Hamas can make more rockets. We're broke. We are broke. So, and here are the tweets. And we talked about this when the funding came out. I told you that I couldn't find the 90 million. I think it was 89.8 or 89.8 or 89.88.9 or something like that million. And I told you I couldn't find the accounting of that in the newspaper clipping, but apparently it's here. Trudeau's announcing, today I'm announcing funding to support renewable energy products to address firearms trafficking and improve equitable access to vaccination. Equitable access. To learn more about the work we're doing during the summit and beyond, click here. And this is the summit where Marcy Yin dressed up like a clown. That one. And then here's Melanie Joly announcing another $50 million in assistance to address urgent needs of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. They need rockets, you see, and the rockets feed children? I'm not sure. I don't know why we're sending $50 million of credit card money. Like we don't have an extra $50 million laying around. It's not like Trudeau was sitting on the couch and he was like, did you just put $50 million underneath the cushions? And Mel Joly was like, no. And he said, well, I just found this. What should we do with it? Let's throw it at Palestine. Oh, okay, fine. Right? Like that's not what happened. Jonathan Kay points this out. It's kind of Halloween-y, right? We're 22 days. Actually, I have a Nightmare Before Christmas song to finish the show today, and it's fantastic from Foundering. It's great. It's great. It's wonderful. And he calls out Canada, and it's wonderful. Anyway, this is the NDP. I don't know if this is legit or if this is a meme. It could be legit, and it's so funny. If it's legit, it's very funny. And if it's not legit, whoever memed this is brilliant, okay? So it says Alberta NDP, and it's got at least one confirmed NDP on the left. I recognize her. I don't recognize the guy, but he could be very well known. I just haven't seen him before. I'm not sure. And it says Night of the Living Drag, and the Living Drag is white text on NDP orange background. It says Janice and Brooks Halaqueer fundraiser. I think this is legit. Oh my gosh, this is so cringe. Friday, October 27th, doors at 7 p.m., show at 8 p.m., Evolution, wherever it is, and it says authorized by the Alberta NDP. I think this is legit. Amazing. Jonathan Kay says, in the space of maybe 5 years, Canada's NDP has gone from the workers of the world unite to, if you come to my Halaqueer drag show, I'll tell you my cat's pronouns. How is anybody voting for this? How is that... The female if you're just listening, the female in the Night of the Living Drag image is indeed holding a dressed up cat. The cat has a witch's hat on, and the cat does not look very impressed at all. And also, she, I think it's a she, is she presents as very strong. I don't know if male is the right way to categorize it, but she presents as very strong. She wears pants and things like that. And so it just strikes me as kind of interesting that she's dressed up with a long wig on. Like it seems counterintuitive. Anyway, Brooks, this guy is the guy in the picture. So he's an NDP guy. Who is this guy? I don't want to read it. He says, we're 1 week away from our spooky fundraiser and we are almost sold out. You don't want to miss Janice Irwin. That's who she is. And I in costumes scarier than the UCP's half cooked plan for your CPP. Okay, he had a lot of I wanted to read it on pause. He had a lot of symbols and things in his name, and that intimidated me. He's got his pronouns in his name, he, him. He's a lawyer. He is a dad dog, and he's the NDP MLA for Edmonton West. Wow. Calgary and Edmonton. Wow. It's funny, but in a sad way, right? It's like when your parents are, they should be yelling and they're not, and they tell you they're just disappointed. Yeah, that's not good, right? Kirk, let's talk about universal basic income. Kirk says Canada's UBI proposal includes handing out money to everyone over the age of 17, including non-Canadian citizens, temporary workers, permanent residents, and refugee claimants, free money to all, and mass immigration. The annual mass immigration cost of UBI will add $3 billion a year in extra debt. Oh, and PBO's assessment is that 60% of households will be worse off as someone will have to pay for this with taxes. The Senate bill proposes a guaranteed livable basic income for anyone in Canada over the age of 17, including temporary workers, permanent residents, and refugee claimants. The proposed basic income framework wouldn't replace or decrease existing health or disability benefits. Wow. Just to be clear, the UBI cost will be $87 billion per year, plus, he estimates, that mass immigration, as more qualified people will be added, will increase that by $3 billion per year. And I assume it will be indexed to inflation. I mean, that would be an intelligent thing to do, but I think Canada is not inherently intelligent. This guy's done videos before. I remember his mustache. And he's talking about UBI. It's 35 seconds. So here's more color. A lot of people are talking about this. And it's concerning because this is full-blown communism. Here we go.
Canada is once again looking at making universal basic income a reality, so let's check out what's going on. The Senate Finance Committee is looking at a bill this week that would create a framework for guaranteed income for Canadians over the age of 17. While this doesn't mean that it would be implemented, if the bill passes, it would require provincial and Indigenous governments to see how UBI would actually work in Canada. As it stands, there would be minimal requirements in order to qualify, and the plan shouldn't cut into any other social services. Now, the cost for UBI would be a big one, but stay tuned to see if this framework actually comes into play and if we take a step closer to having universal basic income.
So we'll find out, right? All of the things that would be triggered would be studies and all of the rest of it. It's a terrible, terrible idea. Miss Fee says the Trudeau Liberals and the NDP are planning on implementing universal basic income. This will destroy all productivity. Small businesses will close and everyone will be poverty stricken. This is communism. So it's not good. It's not good. Here is the Senate. This is one of the press conferences about this from yesterday.
It is my privilege,
not yesterday, Friday,
and responsibility to be the sponsor of Bill S-233, which we've just commenced study of in the Senate Standing Committee on Finance. The bill would introduce a framework to develop a guaranteed livable basic income. Right now is the fact that we are struggling throughout this country with homelessness, food insecurity, poverty, health, mental health issues, and this is one way that we could start to look at these issues. It's not the only way, but it's certainly a key way.
So the problem with this is they don't understand money, because here is why. What happens is when you print money or when you hand out money like this, you are creating a situation where this guy explains it much better than I'm about to explain it. But fundamentally, you're borrowing against the price of things to infuse that money now. So everybody's paying a little bit more for you to have that liquid money that you spend now. And the activity is what's being measured instead of the economic wealth being created, right? And that's a problem because you can spend the money, but you're going to pay the price, and the price is going to be increased price of goods. And that's what we're seeing right now. This guy explains that much better than me. Here we go.
The inflationist growth.
Oh, and he's too fast. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. We'll try again.
The inflationist growth fallacy come from. In short, it confuses activity with wealth. To illustrate, if Hunter Biden prints $1 million and hits Vegas for the weekend, there will be a lot of busy strippers. It's fantastic for Vegas, a tissue fire of economic growth, an extra $1 million in GDP in however long Hunter's high lasts. Of course, where did the money come from? Well, it was siphoned from every other dollar in the world, like water into wine. So grandma now pays a little bit more for groceries, but Hunter had one hell of a weekend. So activity was created, wealth was not. In fact, it was stolen. Now, there is a way around this, a thought experiment first proposed by Milton Friedman in 1969, helicopter money. You fly a helicopter over the city, dumping out money. It's a thought experiment, remember? Governments, sadly, do not have money helicopters, but they do have stimulus checks. Still, even stimulus distorts. The young and the irresponsible spend it fast, while the old and prudent spend slow. So extra shifts for these strippers, but grandma's grocery store shuts down. Fortunately, we have another thought experiment that can reliably test whether printing makes us rich, called the wallet fairy. This little critter sneaks into every bedroom, bank vault, and payroll department across America on December 23rd, that is the founding of the Federal Reserve, and he draws an extra zero on the money. So you went to bed with $10 in your pocket, you wake up with $100. Your $1,000 checking account is now $10,000. You made $15 an hour at Best Buy, now you make $150. Perfect helicopter money. So, are we rich? Do Best Buy associates buy beachfront mansions? And that's of course not, because everybody sees what happened and changed the price. Houses aren't $400,000, they're $4 million. Bubble teas are $50. So there's no tissue fire because nobody was fooled. The extra zero was too obvious. We've actually had similar situations in reverse. So Mexico in the 90s lopped off 3 zeros off the peso. It was embarrassing having 3,000 per dollar. So now a dollar only bought 3 pesos. What happened? Everybody adjusted overnight. A coffee went from 5,000 pesos to 5. It was completely cosmetic. Nothing changed. Unfortunately, in the real world, inflation is never so obvious as the wallet fairy, which is why that tissue fire happens. It takes time for the new money to circulate. The first recipients are Hunter on the Strip. Some prices can take years, like salaries or contracts, meaning years of stolen trillions and little tissue fires as the first recipients spend. So the entire alleged benefit of inflation, that tissue fire, the Phillips curve, turns out to be entirely based on deception, on people either not realizing what just happened or being last in line for the money. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. What's next is the inflation propaganda machine will not quit because there's too much money in counterfeiting. Will only stop when the masses see through it, realize that inflation is institutionalized theft that creates nothing but destroys everything it can. Okay, we'll be watching.
Inflation is theft. I was having a conversation with a friend, just an evolving conversation over weeks, right? We meet regularly and discuss things. And we're talking about money and Bitcoin and related topics. And looking more into Bitcoin, I'm not a money guy, and I've long told you that. But looking into Bitcoin, the way I started one of our conversations was, holy crap, man, inflation is theft. And he just started laughing. Because you don't know until you know, I guess. And it's incredible. It's incredible what is going on. And it's incredible how people's lack of understanding is exploited for political gain, for the political class. It's wild. This is the meme I skipped over. He says the meme says it takes a special kind of lunatic to think that importing welfare recipients who want to kill us is a good idea. Right. And it's not a good idea at all because, well, look at what's happening across Europe right now, like across Britain, et cetera, et cetera. It's not good. Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for watching. This is just a short version of a longer show. If you'd like to get the whole show, you can go over to CanadaPoly.com and sign up for a subscription. Just look in the drop-down tab for Shop and Donate and look for subscriptions, and you'll get immediate access to the full show. Love to see you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful